this game plan, and they just played better than us. They were much better than us in just about everything: offense, defense, got the foul line more. First half was huge, where we allowed 5 threes. Second half was much better defense by us, but just enough, and we were going to have to play better than that. But they made us play poorly, and give them all the credit in the world. We're a pretty good team, and we weren't the better team today. So we got a lot of work to do. I think we'll be able to tell more once we watch the video about where we gave up some of the easy baskets that we gave up. We score 70, right, which is pretty much where we do against a really good defense. But the 77 points was, and whatever they had at halftime, was it 40-something they had at halftime? 38 they had at halftime, 39. That's a large number for us to give up. So I think Charles is, they got more injuries than we do, so I'm not crying, right? But Charles is injured. We're not used to it, and Charles just tweaked his ankle just a little bit, and that threw us off a little bit, but still, it shouldn't be not a factor in the game. We got to be better than we were, and we weren't, and they were absolutely terrific. You know, they got, neither team is very experienced, but the experience the guys they have right now, between Goins being a 5th year, right, and Cassius was absolutely terrific, McQuaid being a senior, they were good, and they were hungry, and they came and got it done. So another a tough loss, but we just move on, and if there's things in this game that's going to help us beat Nebraska on Thursday, I'm all for it. You got to win games.
Ethan?
John, what changed for you guys offensively just in the last 15 minutes or so?
We were trying to, I mean, we missed some shots. I mean, I think, Ethan, you asked a similar question yesterday, and I think I'm just picking on you, but we made some shots in the first half, and we didn't. And we didn't. And then, you know, Thomas has never done a lot of switching of ball screens or even lifting ball screens like they did. They've been a traditional hard hedge, flat hedge team. They didn't do any of that today. And so they're daring some of our guys to shoot. They're going underneath things. And it threw us off a little bit in our timing. And I thought we had 2 huge turnovers in the first half, back-to-back, and 2 huge in the second half, back-to-back, that were like for no reason. Just 50-50, I think I'm going to do this. And we can't do that against a really good team. This reminds me of their team when they had like Trice and those guys, and they were like these high-name guys, and they were absolutely tremendous. They weren't high-level recruits, and they were absolutely tremendous. You got the same team right now. And they got great recruits, but I'm just telling you, they're playing together like that team. I don't know when last time I was at the Final Four, but they were good.
Back to Fred.
I don't remember which player it was. I think it was Iggy. When I said, "Are you surprised how effective Michigan State was without those 2 guys?" He said that you warned them. Yeah. And they would be even better without them.
Their bench is shortened. There's nobody looking over their shoulder. It's just like, I've seen this before with our team. I mean, one of the teams, you know, one of the reasons we're good, we've been good, we don't have too many good players. We got just enough. And you have extra guys sometimes. They got a rhythm. They're playing. They had, 3 bench points today, right? And that is not everybody. When you lose talented, I mean, those are 2 talented players, but it doesn't mean the team goes backwards. Sometimes it's easier for everybody to coach. It's easier for the coach to plan, and they get better reps in practice.
Right to your right with Andrew.
You mentioned wanting to get Xavier more rest, and obviously just didn't happen today. And Teskey played big minutes too with all he's doing.
I think John got tired, and then I wanted to do something with Xavier if we could. I think if they would have put in Lawyer, we probably would have taken him out, but they didn't give Cassius a rest. So there was a couple of timeouts that were very timely back-to-back, so I just said that's your rest. I don't think fatigue was a factor. You know, we did play on shorter rest than them, but you got to be able to do that. You know, I thought we gauged our practice pretty well, but last 10 minutes, they were really good compared to us.
Is there an assessment on Charles yet, like a concern?
No, I don't think. I mean, he was able to come back in, so you really don't worry too much about that, but he's going to have to do work, I'm sure.
Right in the middle with Orion.
What did you see from your ball screen defense, especially in the first half?
That wasn't well. Our ball screen defense has been terrific all year. Cassius Winston was terrific. He destroyed our ball screen defense, destroyed it. So I like to give other teams credit, right? He was absolutely tremendous. We've had a lot of point guards come into this building. I've coached some great ones. That was as good a performance as you're going to see.
Did their offense give you any looks that maybe you guys weren't expecting?
A couple, but he gets into nooks and crannies. I mean, his mid-range game is one of the very tops in the country. At the rim, not so. his three-point game and his mid-range game are one of the top, like, elite. And so he got to his mid-range, all those little runners and those floaters. There's not a lot of defense for those things, right? And if John stays too long, then he finds drop-off guys. He looked like Joe Montana throwing to the other side of the court today. I mean, he had a terrific, terrific game. And he's playing against a tremendous defensive point guard, so give him credit.
Stay there with Nick in the back.
John, you guys had 6 assists today.
Yeah.
Last time it did not well. Was there any one contributing factor?
Well, because they switched so many screens, they made us play one-on-one.
And then with the droughts, like it was 1 on 10, 1 on whatever.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, these things seem to linger a little bit for you guys. Is there any, you know where you're at right now?
Yeah, we got to take good shots, and I think our shot selection is better than it was earlier in the year, but we got to take good shots at that time. But when we're in the one-on-one situations right now, we got to be more effective. We got to continue to work on it with offensively with ourselves. We have certain habits that are not good for some one-on-one situations, and we're trying to break those habits. But when that's been going on for 18 or maybe 10 years, it's hard to break it in the short time we have. The bigger thing, Nick, was that they've been turning over 12 a game, right? They had 6 turnovers, right? I did love, their fast break is tremendous. They didn't get out, they couldn't get out and run because we had some guys back, but we only turned them over, right? We've been turning everybody over 11 or 12, we're going to turn over 6 times. That was a bigger story in the game. Their offense was very effective.
Stay there in the TV row with Jolie.
Coach, with an emotional game like this is, and you only have 13 days until your next game against Michigan State, but you have a game in between, so how do you keep your guys focused, not looking too far ahead to that game in 13 days, but to focus on the next game being Nebraska? That game 13 days from now will never enter any of our minds, right? We got Nebraska Thursday, and then we got Maryland, and then we got our last game. So those are not even fact. It's a great question. It's a fair question. There's no way. We will watch this game to get better for Nebraska, and we will watch this game again before that game because we have a week. But it's not. There's so much more to our season than beating Michigan State, and I know that hurt some of our fans who love this game. We've had some success. They have some success. We have 2 incredible programs in this state, and everybody should be very happy they could witness something like that for at least 30 minutes, and of course the Michigan State fans for 40.
Chris?
At the end of the day, you guys are still only 1 game out of first place.
Right.
Did you tell those guys that after the game?
I just said we're in the championship hunt. We're still in the championship. Anything can happen down the stretch. Who would think that they would lose at home to Indiana, right? And again, we still have to beat Nebraska and you go to Maryland. So anything can happen, and Purdue's been really pulling out some great games, and those other teams aren't out of it either. A whole bunch isn't there 3 or 4 teams with 2 or 3 teams with 10 wins, with still 5 to go, 4 to go. So 15 wins might win it, right? Maybe somebody can get we can't get to 17 now, right? But we could get to 16. Who knows?
And then just talk about the rest of the weekend with the 89 team and how all that.
Yeah, that was absolutely terrific. It's terrific to have those guys were there. When we at halftime we're down 2, we're going down the tunnel. They're all there, cheering us on. When we went back out, they were coming back. It was terrific. Have Steve and Angie in the house is absolutely fantastic. I know that it's been a long time, and it's we could never get him back here because he was still coaching, and this sort of happened to work out. I couldn't be happier. I know he's happier. It's been a long time since he was in that building, and I think this goes a long way with our program.
Aria?
In the second half, when there were some of those scoring droughts, did you struggle to drop plays because of people weren't making shots?
Yeah. I was. We tried a whole bunch of stuff, Ariana. We tried a whole bunch of stuff, and they had a really good defense today, and we could not get the leverage that we normally could create by some of the style of their defense. And we got to look at it, and we got to go into our the workshop, whatever, and find a way to beat the particular type of defense that they were playing, because we haven't seen it in a little bit, and it was very good.
Go ahead, Terry.
What did Cassius do today that, better than he did in the 2 games last year that allowed him to kind of flip the... Yeah, there were several times first half, our ball screen, it's off the ball screen. I bet you if we ever charted, that would be great for one of you guys to do. How many times have you seen a ball screen today?
How many times did X get whacked with a ball screen today? While other guys are standing in the corner. That's a hard day. And he's, what was his more like? X will have a catapult of 1,000. He'll have a catapult of 1,000. That's like a huge number. Where the 2 guard might have 600 or 700 today. That he just gets into these little areas, and then he's got that floater game that very, very few players have. I mean, it is an art to be able to go full speed, stop, float it up, and get to go in. He's one of the best I've ever seen at it. And you have to be all over it. But if you impact him more with your ball screen coverage, you can take that away. For some reason, our impact wasn't there, or he got by our impact with hesitation, etc.
Did he not have that last year, or at least not?
No, he said he missed some of those shots last year. I mean, they won the Big Ten championship last year, right? They were like a number 2 seed. They were rated above us. He had a tremendous year. We only played him twice, and maybe he had an off game. That's all there is to it. They were really good last year, and they're really good this year, and so are we. And that's what it comes down to. Yep.
Coach, on that ball screen defense, your guys didn't have the impact that you said they wanted to. Did you ever think about moving away from hedging on those screens, or did you just want to keep that going impact defense?
What do you mean?
So you never
back up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he's really good. That's when the floater game really comes. And I've seen the teams that have done that, but he had the same game. But again, look at his numbers. A lot of them were the foul line, right? And he's good at drawing fouls, and he's just tremendous today. He was just tremendous today. And listen, he's playing against one of the best of all time. So let's give a lot of credit where it's due. They got a great program, right? And they got it done today, right? And we're going to do everything we can just to learn from it and get better.
Right in the middle with Jacob.
I guess again with the ball screen defense, was that kind of the plan, just hedging hard and just getting other guys to beat you? Maybe was that?
Yeah, when if you're hedging it hard, then everybody's got to come in and go back. And in the first half, we had some problem with that, and getting back to a couple of guys. But again, he's going to get himself into a one-on-one situation with Teskey, and he's deceptive enough. He got around him a couple of times. A couple of times, X wanted him to get back, but X didn't have leverage yet. So then he got back, and there he's going into the basket. So we're a really good ball screen defense team. We weren't good. We weren't good today, and credit him.
I know you addressed this rivalry during the week, but Tom shared with us that you and he had a conversation before this game. This rivalry needs to be considered with the...
No, it's the elite of the elite. I mean, you guys go... I mean, I was just thinking, I was talking to Rafferty before. Okay, Kansas State. But wait a minute. Kansas State hasn't been in the final... Both teams have been two times in the Final Four the last 10 years. Both teams, right? And there's teams that have rivalries, but like Clemson, North Carolina, or Clemson, South Carolina, they're in different leagues. Florida State, they're in different leagues. This one is twice a year, 3 times a year. Find me another one, and maybe there is. Maybe there is Oklahoma State. Will either one of them be the national championship for the last 10 years, like Michigan and Michigan State have been? It is like incredible what we have right in front of us right now, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it. I know he is, and this has been a great decade right now for me personally, but to be able to compete against a great program like that, and also to have our own success against them and others.
I think that's going to do it, Coach.
Okay, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed the game.